Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the IPFW Athletic Center. Tonight's Great Lake Valley Conference basketball doubleheader featuring the Mastodons of IPFW and their visiting team tonight, the Bellarmine College University or College. They got bells for the women and
Knights for the men.
Knights for the men. The starting lineups are just now being presented for the visiting Bells of Bellarmine College. We'll have starting number 11, Stephanie Duddy, number 21, Rita Johnson, number 22, Shannon Miles, number 24, Missy Hahn, and number 32, Sharonda O'Bannon. And it looks like the IPFW starting lineup, Dan, is about standard as it has been for the last 2 or 3 weeks now.
I think you're right, Dave. I think Coach Rosinski and Coach Carter have decided they're going to go with 5 starters and pretty much count on those players. Now, again, there are 8 players, Dave, for IPFW, 9 players actually, averaging over 10 minutes a game, so we're going to see an awful lot of players in there. This is an important weekend for IPFW. They're third in the conference behind St. Joe and Bellarmine here. It's going to be awful tough for them to move up a place, but a couple big wins here against Bellarmine College tonight and Northern Kentucky on Saturday could move them up in the rankings in the region, which is the important factor come NCAA bid time.
Should be a good ball game. 2-3 weeks ago when they met down at Bellarmine, it was a close ball game. Bellarmine won, but we'll see if the gals here at IPFW can't come through with one tonight.
They match up real well with each other, so it should be a real good game.
Bellarmine takes the opening tip and prepares now to come down for their first offensive setup. Number 11, Stephanie Duddy, controlling the ball on the inside. A bit of a mishandle, and O'Banion was able to get her own rebound and then couldn't hang on.
Well, good hustle there by Lisa Miller. She wasn't able to get the ball, but she was able to get a hand in there and knock it loose.
Amy Newhouser down to Lisa Miller. A lot of good movement on the offensive set here for the Mastodons as they open up. Patiently looking for that shot that they'd like to get. That time number 21 kind of forced the action over there for Rita Johnson for Bellarmine.
Well, it appears it's going to be a very aggressive game both ways. And Dave, I do see a switch on IPFW that I didn't see before, and that's Shelly Sands is in starting the ballgame. She plays a lot of minutes, but she hasn't typically been a starter for Pam Edwards. But Pam's got her warm-up off, so expect to see her shortly.
I think maybe Shelly started the last home game here. And we have an offensive rebound put back up and in by number 32. Sharonda O'Bannon.
And she picks up a foul right away in the defense down the court. Dave, it appears that IPFW is going to have to do a good job of boxing out because Bellarmine looks to hit the boards real hard. In fact, at that time, IPFW had offensive position, but Bellarmine went over the back and no foul was called, so IPFW is going to have to do a real good job of boxing out and getting their position.
And Bellarmine is not particularly a bigger starting lineup than IPFW. They're pretty even. There we see a second foul called, and they're really trying to play Lisa Miller close tonight. They want to keep that ball out of her hands, which isn't a bad thought.
No, not a bad thought at all.
But it's harder to do than to talk about.
Well, and the officials appear to be trying to take control of the game early here, Dave. We haven't seen that in the last couple of games. They've let games become very physical. Tonight they're calling the fouls and appearing to be trying to take charge right away.
Yeah. Amy Newhouser with a jumper, and she ties the game at 2.
Good move. Stutter step inside, took the 15-foot shot.
Stephanie Duddy and Lisa and Missy Hahn, the guards for the Bellarmine Bells. Inside, probably had a good shot and didn't realize it by Sharonda. IPFW coming down with the offensive set. Cross court, misfire like a pinball.
I think it hit the rim, didn't it?
Yeah,
on the pass
it did.
Cross court.
Nice move that time by number 22, Shannon Miles with the basket. Gives Bellarmine the lead again at 4-2.
Looks like we're going to see pressure full court by both teams at this point, Dave.
They'll try to make the other team work hard to get the ball down the floor. Nice inside pass and just a bit of a tip on the block shot. Shelly Sands not able to get the ball up high enough on the board. Bellarmine's a quick, aggressive team. Tina Merrill with the ball down. It bounced inside. Nice pass to Lisa Miller. Basket, and she was looking for the foul. Didn't get that one, but got the basket.
I was looking for the foul.
Yeah, there's a lot of body contact that time. As we see Rita Johnson in the lane for two. And every time IPFW ties the game up, Bellarmine counters on its next possession with a basket to retake the lead. Tina Merrill out behind the three-point line. Not open enough to fire that shot yet. Robin Scott inside. Lisa Miller inside. Nice pass to Shelly Sands. Basket good. Again, the pressure defense just slowing that offensive thrust down a bit. IPFW that time not getting the kind of position they ought to get on the inside defensive boards.
Actually, Dave, I don't think it's such a bad position. They're just not holding it. They're not making themselves big and being strong. And in this case, number 32, Chandra O'Bannon went over the back. And again, no foul. I don't think it was a foul. I think it was just aggressive play on her part. And she was able to get the ball and got fouled.
Yeah, I think she was able to get a hand on it, knock it loose, and then grab it. And she'll be at the line to shoot 2 free throws.
Dave, 2 weeks ago tonight, we saw one of the best women's college games I've ever seen with St. Joe and IPFW. And tonight looks like it's going to be fast-paced action just like that night.
And we also saw some excellent free throw shooting a couple of weeks ago when the Mastodons were at home, both by the Dons and by the opposition. Lisa Miller with the rebound. IPFW with a chance to take the lead here now, trailing 7-6. And there's a move inside. And we talk about a strong move. Amy Newhouser took that ball to the hoop, and even with her arm being impeded, she got the basket and will have an opportunity for a three-point play.
That was a tough shot to get off, let alone make.
Yeah.
She was able to be strong up there to the board and got it to go in. Foul was on number 21, Rita Johnson. That's her second, Dave.
That may cause Coach Just to make a substitution here soon.
Well, Bellarmine's working very, very hard at the defensive end, particularly on the middle. They don't want anybody in the middle, and Lisa Miller's really working hard for position, but they haven't let her touch the ball very often.
IPFW in the lead, 9-7. A little over 4 minutes of action has been played here in the first half. Long jumper. That time Robin Scott got the position and the rebound. Inside pass to Lisa Miller. And over to Robin Scott. Good ball movement. Good ball movement.
Well, if they're going to collapse on Lisa, she's going to be able to feed the ball off, and she's done that twice now. Once to Shelly Sands and once to Robin Scott, and both of them hit the open shot. So
yeah,
Lisa can be as effective tonight feeding the ball, it appears.
Her teammates are going to have to be alert because she'll be dishing it off. Here we had a three-point try, and they see Sharonda O'Bannon going up with that rebound again.
Dave, she's averaging over 10 rebounds a game, and you can see why here early in this game. She's got 3 or 4 already.
And interestingly enough, several of them on the offensive end, which is the hardest place to get the rebound. Nice move down the lane, and basket by Amy Newhouser. IPFW goes back up on top by 4, and we have a turnover. That time, a little bit of token pressure just caused a turnover. Didn't get the steal, but got a turnover. And we do have a substitution now, as number 21, Rita Johnson, who has the 2 fouls, is being replaced in the lineup by number 25, Connie Carroll. Lisa Miller with the outside jump shot. Long, no good, but that time Tina Merrill comes up with the offensive board. Amy Newhouser. 3 seconds called in the lane. Pam Edwards has entered the lineup now for our IPFW, giving Shelly Sands a rest. Pretty good ball game so far, Dan.
Pretty good, Dave.
Both teams playing hard, rebounding, pressure, defense. A little troubling music there. as number 22, Shannon Miles, called for the travel.
I don't think the efficiency is quite as expert as it was in the St. Joe game, but Davis is both teams are playing very, very aggressively, and I think there's a revenge factor on IPFW. They really want to win this game after losing out of Bellarmine by 5 earlier this year.
Robin Scott with a move to the basket. Passes back outside. And nice inside pass to Pam Edwards. She didn't get the shot. She goes back up perhaps here with a layup. No basket. There's going to be a foul called before she could get the shot off.
Actually, I think Pam got a little lucky there, Dave. She shouldn't have used the backboard on the first shot. It didn't go in. And then on the second attempt, I thought she really took a charge there. I thought she actually put her shoulder into the opposing player. But number 32, Chandra O'Bannon, picked up the foul. That's her second. Could be an important foul for Bellarmine College.
Shannon plays a lot of the inside for the Bells. IPFW with a lot of movement on the offense. Oh, we see a little action down underneath the basket as the loose ball picked up by Bellarmine. Bellarmine leads on the retrieval of loose balls tonight without a doubt so far. There we see Robin Scott stepped into the passing lane but made a little contact with Sharonda O'Bannon.
Well, she wasn't quite quick enough. The thought was good. She just didn't get there fast enough. And we've talked about Robin before. She does this as well as any player on IPFW's team, and that's cutting off the passing lanes. And that time she was about a half a step slow and had to reach around and get the foul.
Robin getting a rest as Judy Guest comes into the lineup, as did Dawn Harbaugh. Jump shot from straight away, and it's good by number 24, Missy Hahn. And there we had a foul, but boy, was it not called. Wacko. Fortunately, they didn't get the basket. Lisa Miller rebounds, and Dawn comes down quickly. IPFW offense been sputtering just a little bit. They've been working hard. But we have a 3-second call again against the Mastodons. Well, that's one of those things that players have to adjust to. If they're going to call them, you got to know they're going to call them and get yourself out of there.
Well, and that's part of what you were talking about, the sputtering offense. It doesn't look like the movement is real good like it was earlier in the ballgame, and they need to get back into that pattern, particularly with their big people underneath, need to be moving back and forth across the lane and trying to gain position just outside the paint.
IPFW with a man-to-man defense. The Bells setting a lot of picks. Rebound by Lisa Miller. Dawn Harbaugh bringing down. Quickly down the floor to Judy Guest. It's like the Bells are set up in a zone defense right now. Outside jump shot by Amy Newhouser, and it's good.
This is the best offensively Amy's looked that we've seen her, Dave. I know she's scored a number of points, but she looks really good offensively tonight.
She usually gets a lot of her points on the front end of a fast break, but tonight she's been getting them out of the offense. And there we see a shot, much like the one that sank the ship with St. Joe a couple of weeks ago. It kind of hit the side of the rim and had enough to bounce up over and in. IPFW with a 2-point lead, 15-13 here at the 12-minute mark of the first half. Nice inside pass and going to be traveling called. After she got the ball, she needed to take one little bounce and put it up and in.
Doesn't appear that Pam is in the rhythm tonight. She's got a couple of 3-second calls, and twice now she's not been able to convert underneath the basket.
Robin Scott and Shelly Sands back into the lineup as Tina Merrill and Lisa Miller get their first breather of the evening. And there we see a reach-in foul being called, this time against Shelly Sands. As drawing the foul is number 31, Gina Cornett. Substitute coming in for the Bells, number 44, Angie McClone. And returning to the lineup, number 11, Stephanie Duty. 24 going out, Missy Hahn. I think most all of the starters now, both teams, Dan, have at least had a short breather, been able to catch their breath.
Well, Dave, I don't have any statistics on minutes played for Bellarmine, but as I mentioned before, and over nine players for IPFW are averaging over 10 minutes a game, and I have a feeling the same is true for Bellarmine because they're not afraid to shuffle. And you have a record like Bellarmine does at 19-3, you know they got to play a lot of players and have a lot of good depth. So.
And there they get some nice movement off of the bench by Angie McClone. She comes in and gets a basket just right away, her first possession.
And ties the score at 15, Dave.
Ties it up. Fourth time in the game we've had a tie. Here we have a foul called against the Bells, against number 5, Claudia Smith. That's the 5th team foul, so we are not yet going to have the 1-and-1 on either team. Judy Guess hasn't taken a shot up there yet, so she should be coming due soon. And a little over past that time, got away, and a nice move, number 31. Jenna Cornett again coming in off the bench. So Bellarmine's bench has come in here and quickly not only closed the gap, but given them a lead. Jump shot short by Robin Scott.
Well, she never really jumped. She kind of took a jump shot standing on the floor.
Yeah. And IPFW, with a good defensive move that time, forced a turnover. The Dons need to come down and get some good offensive set going and get back into the rhythm that they had the first 5 or 6 minutes of the ball game.
Right.
Lisa Miller with the ball on the outside, right side of the lane. Tina Merrill with the outside jumper. One of the few shots Tina's taken. Rebound by Lisa Miller. Nice move up on the inside, but as she got bounced around a little bit, didn't get the ball up the way she wanted to.
Well, again, Dave, should have used the glass. I think she had a better opportunity to make that basket if it would have hit the glass. Good defensive pressure by Pam Edwards there to cut off the passing lane.
Good anticipation. There we have an opportunity for a jumper at the right side, and Amy Newhouser having an excellent game so far.
That's 11, Dave, and she's kept us right in the ball game. She's got 11 of the first 17 points for IPFW.
At the halfway point of the first half, we're at our 5th tie, and now that's broken.
Not good backside defense. Somebody's got to help on the backside when the front side player goes out to cut off the driving player.
Lisa Miller with the ball on the right side. Tina Merrill up top, back to the right side. Dawn Harbaugh. Amy Newhouser with the ball. Jump shot in and out by Tina Merrill. Good shot. And there we had some defensive lapse by just not taking a look at who was getting out front. So Bellarmine College jumps into a 21-17 lead here as we approach the 9-minute mark of the first half. Well, interesting call.
I thought that was a good one, Dave.
Yeah.
A couple times, in fact, I thought IPFW has been guilty of offensive
push off.
Yeah, and they haven't called it until that effort right there.
The rest of the teams are not aware of who it's been called against, nor who was it called against. It was called against us, but it looked like they're going to give us the ball.
It was called against Dawn Harbaugh.
Interesting.
No, I believe the other official is going to correct it.
Okay. Enough said.
IPFW's got to really tighten up defensively now. That's the way you make things happen on the defensive end, and that's just where they've had a couple breakdowns here the last 3 or 4 possessions.
Tina Manier is into the lineup for the first time this evening. Number 44, very active on the inside post play. Missed the shot, but got a nice opportunity. Amy Newhouser with the jumper from the right side, no good. Lisa Miller battled for the rebound and knocked out of bounds, I believe, by, yes, Bellarmine Bells. We have a timeout. First half of play. Bellarmine College 21, IPFW 17, and 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go here in the first half.
Well, I think that's a good timeout by Coach Rosinski, Dave. Again, they've just kind of gotten out of a rhythm here, and they need to get back into a pattern. And I think that she can talk to the players and hopefully correct a few things that they need to get done here, and a real important timeout. They had a 4 or 6 point lead at one point in time. Now they're down by 4. We're able to avoid going down by 6, but they need to make sure that that they get into an offensive set and move well and move the ball around. I thought they were moving the ball very well the first 3 or 4 minutes of the ball game, but it appears that they've gotten out of that a little bit. And again, I think it all goes back to defensively. They had some defensive breakdowns at that end of the court and given Bellarmine a couple of fast breaks and a couple of inside shots, and you can't afford to do that.
Yeah, somehow that initial intensity dropped off just a bit on the defense, and consequently you see it in the offensive play also. Although we've had probably a maximum 4-point spread either way. We've had 5 ties in the game and 2 lead changes. So pretty close game. IPFW to inbound the ball underneath its own basket on the end line. Like to see Lisa Miller get into the offensive action here just a little bit more. Now there's some confusion again as to whose ball it is, but there's no doubt it should be IPFW's ball.
They called a white ball. They called white ball before.
Yes, before, and now they're reversing it. No, I'll be darned. What a timeout. What a timeout.
Well, they made a mistake, then they obviously shouldn't have called that timeout, Dave.
And in fact, the same official, though, Dan, that ruled before the timeout that it was IPFW's ball is the official who reversed himself. Now he's going to make it up. I shouldn't say that. He's calling an offensive foul against Bellarmine. Probably no basket. Interesting.
Well, that might be what it takes to fire IPFW up, Dave.
Could be.
You get a call, a technical call, something like that sometimes.
And then there's no call on the kick. And now we get a foul call against number 44, Angie McClone. Angie's come in and done a nice job for the Bells.
She has come in and done a nice job.
We thought it might bother them just a little bit when number 32, Sharonda O'Bannon, picked up her second foul, but this young lady's come in and filled the void very nicely. And she will get a breather now as we have a replacement, number 22, I think it is. Shannon Miles back in the lineup.
Well, with that foul, Dave, IPFW goes to line, and they're a very good free throw shooting ball club, shooting 73% from the field, or from the free throw line. So,
and they get off of that 17. They've been stuck there for a while.
For a long time.
Robin Scott to shoot free throw number 2 as she hit the first and she cashes in on the second. That narrows the lead to 2. IPFW with their full court pressure, causing enough difficulty to bring the ball up that it's not that easy to get a set. Number 15, Kristen Hopper, and we have a steal that time by Tina Merrill. Amy Newhouser aggressively to the ball, to the basket, and scores layup. And now we have a tie, 21-21. Stephanie Duddy back into the lineup for the Bells. Point guard, does the ball handle, a lot of ball handling for the Bellarmine College. Sharon Miles with the high jumper off the board, no good. And Lisa Miller with the rebound.
Great job getting position and going up strong for that ball.
And Amy Newhouser. Short jumper misses, but Tina Merrill rebounds. This time dishes off to Lisa Miller, back to Tina, back to Robin Scott, and we're going to have a foul called against Bellarmine Bells, number 22, Shannon Miles.
IPFW had some good ball movement that time, was able to get the drive down the lane and picked up the blocking foul. Dave, I think IPFW's got to get Lisa Miller into the offense. Not necessarily scoring. She's only got 2 points, but as we mentioned earlier, when she has the ball, she's going to draw an awful lot of activity and be able to feed off. And she has not touched the ball a whole bunch this first half.
Not a lot. She's the kind of player that can explode at any time, so Bellarmine better make sure that for 40 minutes they keep an eye on her.
And that's a tough job. That's
yes,
a tough assignment for 40 minutes.
Robin Scott hits the free throw to break the tie and give IPFW the lead. And hits the second, so it's 23-21 IPFW. A little less than 7.5 minutes left to play in the first half. Gina Cornett out to and Robin Scott stepped into the passing lane, tipped it away, but it came back to Bellarmine and they got a basket out of it.
sure how they called that, Dave. She was still dribbling the ball.
That's right. He thought he called traveling, but I think rather than traveling, he should have called a carry on the ball if he's going to call anything. Jump shot from the far right side. And there's going to be a foul called outside. It's got to be against number 10. No.
They're going to call 24, Lisa Miller, over the back.
Okay. Guess it was away from the ball, maybe. 23-23 tie. Bellarmine very quickly moves that ball on the into the inside, and there they had Tina Merrill finally comes out of the pack with the ball. Lisa Miller with the ball on the inside. Nice move, spin around, but
not high enough on the board.
No. And there's some bumping and bouncing going on in there every time she gets the ball.
But she's got to expect that.
That's right. That's part of the game. And the excellent passes there as Bellarmine went inside, outside, and regained the lead, 25-23. IPFW may need to look a little bit more for an outside shot to loosen up that inside just a little bit. There we can see one, and that's what I've been looking for. All right.
And that will certainly open it up, Dave. 3 or 4 of those shots will open up that middle, and right now it is packed inside defensively.
Yeah, they pack it in pretty hard. Nice defense that time by Dawn Harbaugh. Tina Manier in the ball game for IPFW. Shelly Sands coming in. Pam Edwards coming in. Missy Hahn and Stephanie Duddy at the guards now for Bellarmine. And Rita Johnson has returned to the lineup. Long jump shot, no good. And nice block shot that time, I think by Tina Merrill, maybe.
Or Pam Edwards.
Pam Edwards.
Too. They were both down there at the time. It's hard to see who got the hand on it.
Made it awfully difficult for Rita Johnson to be able to get a clean shot.
Well, very easily could have picked up a foul and just did a nice job keeping the hands straight up in the air.
There, the officials did catch the defensive kick of the ball, so the ball will be returned to Bellarmine with a new shot clock. IPFW in a zone defense, trying to close down that middle, I think, because there hasn't been that much activity on the inside. And there we see a loose ball knocked out of bounds by Bellarmine.
Well, I think IPFW needs to take a lesson from Bellarmine at the defensive end. Bellarmine hasn't hit a bunch of outside shots either, and they need to pack it in a little tighter.
Right.
Make them hit that outside face.
Sock it in back there and until they hit from the outside and show that they can do something else with it. Lisa Miller with the ball outside. Tina Manier rather. And there we have a jump ball. And this time the alternate possession will give the ball to IPFW.
There you see the score at 25 all with 4:34 left in the first half.
Dawn Harbaugh with the ball. Out high, looking for some offensive movement. Gets the Mastodons over to Amy Newhouser. Amy tries the lane. Dawn fires up the long jumper, and it's good. Tina Johnson. Stephanie Ruddy. Back to Tina Johnson. Jump shot. Far left side, no good. Rebound by Amy Newhouser, and she quickly comes down looking for something that could take place here. And
a little out of control, though.
Forced it just a little bit.
That's what she's attempting to do that, Dave, and that's needed, but she needs to come down just a little bit more under control.
Connie Carroll returns to the Bellarmine lineup, as does Robin Scott for IPFW. She's in for Pam Edwards. 27-25. Closely fought game, right down from the beginning tip to just under 4 minutes to play now in the first half. And that's happened more than once tonight, Dan, that long skip pass over underneath.
Well, they set a double screen there. Nobody is talking or helping on the backside, and they just throw it over the double screen to the player behind.
So we have our 9th tie of the game. And Don Harbaugh with the outside jumper, no good. Swarm of red shirts around that rebound. There, IPFW may have gotten away with a foul. Number 10, Renata Kukowitz in for the Bells, and again giving them some excellent inside play. Bellarmine now with a set to inbounds play. We'll see what kind of movement they try to get a good shot off of it, and they get a bucket.
Don Harbaugh made the mistake of committing herself in the air, and number 22, Shannon Miles, just went underneath the arms and was able to get the shot.
And there we see a reach-in foul being called against number 24, Missy Hahn, for the Bellarmine Bells. Should send Amy Newhouser to the line to shoot 1-1. Bellarmine not yet in the 1-1, as IPFW has committed only 5 team fouls. Amy Newhouser to the line, shooting the front, or first of the 1-1. And it's good. As Amy prepares for the second free throw and the possibility of the 10th tie of this half. And we have it. Pressure defense by the Mastodons. Broken fairly easily that time by Bellarmine. Long outside three-pointer, no good. Shot put up there by number 25, Connie Carroll. Drive inside, and a good basket by Robin Scott.
Not quite sure how she made that, Dave.
I'm not sure either. It's almost as though as soon as she felt the contact, she put the ball up, and it went in. And some good defensive play that time causes a turnover by Bellarmine.
IPFW needs to capitalize on that mistake.
This game has kind of gone in 3 and 4 minute spurts. First one team and then the other, and never a big spurt, but a good bit, enough to retake a lead.
Well, I think both teams, Dave, are working very, very hard at the defensive end. I mean, there's been some breakdowns, but I think generally the intensity has been good. And I totally expected a higher offensive output from both teams than we're seeing. But again, I think it's just a case of both teams playing a very strong, tight defense.
The defense just isn't allowing it. Lisa Miller with the outside jump. Nobody inside the rebound.
And even when they're getting a shot, it's a quick, it's a hurried shot. It's not an on balance. The outside shooters, Lisa Miller, Tina Merrill, have not been able to hit that outside shot. Tina.
I don't think Tina's taken a three-pointer yet, has she? And you see the move inside the lane that time by number 11, Stephanie Duddy, as she puts up the basket and gives us another tie. Bellarmine plays good defense. They don't leave anybody open very long in any one given spot. Don Harbaugh's move down the lane and a little off balance on the shot. Didn't catch any of the iron, so it came shooting straight down off the backboard. That time a quick pass by number 10, Renata Kukowitz. And I don't think Stephanie or Shannon Miles was ready for that pass.
In fact, the look she gave Stephanie or Renata was not a very kind one.
Yeah, don't do that again. Tina Manier in the ball game. Brings the ball down. Nice inside-outside give and go. IPFW retrieves the ball, and Tina Merrill looking for the drive, doesn't get it, gets shut off, and there we have an over-the-back call against number 25, Connie Carroll of the Bells, her first. but it'll send Lisa Miller to the line. Shoot the 1-and-1. IPFW back into the lead, 32-31, with 54 seconds left here in the first half. Little drying of the floor before we continue play.
Well, Dave, that's over that infamous spot on our gymnasium. Every time we get a heavy rain or heavy snow, it leaks through that big vent, and they'll probably be doing that all night long, every few minutes.
Lisa Miller's second free throw is good. Bellarmine down the floor quickly. Far right side, back out to the top of the key. Jump shot by Connie Carroll, and she missed. IPFW with a little spread of the floor here now, and looks like they don't want to slow the clock down. They have 14 seconds on the shot clock, and that'll leave about 12 seconds for Bellarmine as they get a nice inside pass and get a basket. Amy Newhouser. So with 15 seconds left, Bellarmine looking for the last shot of the half as they trail by 4 points, 35-31. It's down to 7 seconds. And if they keep the defense up and not, there's a nice block by Tina Merrill, and we'll have a tie-up as the half ends. And excellent defense by the Mastodons as they finished off with a good heads-up play on the offense to get a 2-point basket, and then came down and really made it tough.
Dave, I had an interesting question for you here. That tie-up came right as the horn sounded. Does that change the possession arrow?
Yes, it will.
So IPFW will get possession to start the second half, even though Bellarmine did not get possession because the time had run out?
I think, though, what that will do is now there will have to be an actual possession take place, I believe.
So it will be Bellarmine's ball to start the second half?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Interesting half, Dave. Again, not as high scoring as I expected, but still interesting as things go. Let me quickly run down the unofficial halftime stats here that I have. Unofficially, for 35 points for IPFW. They're led in scoring, having a great offensive night. In fact, playing well at both ends of the court. Amy Newhouser with 17 points, nearly half the points. Robin Scott with 8. Lisa Miller with 6. Dawn Harbaugh with 2. And Shelly Sands with 2. Nobody for IPFW really in foul trouble. Shelly Sands has 2, and there are a few players who have 3. They only had 5 in the whole first half. For Bellarmine Bells, with 31 points here in the first half, they are led in scoring by Shannon Miles, number 22, with 8 points. They have a number of players, they have 2 players, Jenna Corbett with 4, Angie McGlone with 4. Chandra O'Brien had 5 points, but didn't play very much after the first 5 or 6 minutes. Got her second foul, took out, never brought her back in. Claudia Smith has 2, Renetta Kukowitz has 2, Stephanie Duddy has 2, Rita Johnson has 2, and Missy Hahn has 2. So that for 31 points. Again, I think both teams are going to have to come out, get into their offensive sets. I think you hit well off for IPFW. The key for them is going to have to be to hit that 15, 20-foot jump shot, open up that defense a little bit, then they can get the ball back inside. They've also got to get their guns into the offense. Not necessarily scoring-wise. Lisa Miller only has 6, but I'm not convinced that she has to score a lot of points, but she's got to touch the ball because she's going to draw an awful lot of activity, and she can then pass off. And
Tina Merrill has not scored a lot either, and she's typically a high scorer. But I think it kind of points out that there's lots of potential scoring out of the entire lineup for IPFW.
Right.
Well, we invite you to stay tuned at halftime as a program entitled What If will be presented for your viewing pleasure. Stay tuned for more college basketball after halftime.
There are certain things we've come to expect in northeastern Indiana. An area with abundant natural resources, of solid economic growth, and a region with a strong history and a sense of direction for the future. If any part of our surroundings were removed, all our lives would be changed more than we realize. For example, what if there were no IPFW? What if more than 23,000 graduates were removed from the job market? What if special education and training programs were no longer available to companies like General Motors, Magnavox, and General Electric? And what if our community were not able to benefit from university performing arts and fine arts programs? What if there were no IPFW? IPFW has been recognized for its strong undergraduate programs and the excellence of its faculty. Each semester, 11,000 students are enrolled in more than 130 degree programs. Unfortunately, this is where many people's knowledge of this urban campus ends. But whether you know it or not, IPFW has affected your life. Since its beginning in 1964, the joint campus of Indiana University and Purdue University at Fort Wayne strived for excellence, and in doing so has grown into an integral part of our economic growth in northeastern Indiana.
Generally, when I talk to business people, the question will come up as to what institutions of higher learning are in the vicinity, and most of them aren't familiar with the system that we have here with a joint Indiana University, Purdue University. We try to sell it in terms of we've got two great institutions that are working together here.
I think businesses are going to come in areas where there are strong academic organizations or academic institutions. And I think the stronger that IPFW is, the more they can contribute to the business community, the more business is going to come to Fort Wayne.
It's one of the aspects they look at. A lot of communities are the same. There's a lot of communities that can offer land, some economic incentives, but not every community can offer the institution of higher learning and the other quality of life things that become important when you've got close decisions to make in terms of locating a business.
I constantly hear of people who are going back to school and who are trying to get an MBA, or who are trying to work in dental hygienics, or trying to work in speech and hearing. Many pre-professional tracks are available here.
IPFW has a strong economic impact in the Fort Wayne area. First of all, it's a large institution. It brings a lot of people in, people that spend money, professors, students, people that come for conferences, NCAA volleyball tournaments, national tournaments like we had last year. All of that adds to the economic growth and vitality of the region. But in addition to the people that it brings in, it's clearly important in attracting other businesses and in fostering economic development.
When we first got here, we had one training center located on the other side of town, the old Harvester Scout plant, I believe it was. We had approximately 15 classrooms. When we got into the bulk of training on the day shift, when we had approximately 12 to 1,500 people going through at one time, we didn't have the space. So we had to find some place that we could hold class. This is where IPFW came in handy, because they allowed us during the summertime, which was our peak time, to use their classroom. IPFW responded and taught math to our skilled trades people, geometry to our carpenters, for example, to enable us to have the workforce that we do.
And a number of business people talk about the importance of having engineering degrees and having a place where people can get those degrees.
We have several people there working on undergraduate degrees. We have several people there working on graduate degrees.
I think continuing education is something that's being used a lot more. I know from city government side that we encourage people that work for the city to go to the campus and take further courses, and a lot more are using that.
I have been on boards where we've tried to do surveys to tap various and sundry things, and people immediately will say, oh, call IPFW, they know how to do a survey. They'll do a survey for us.
We use the IPFW quite a bit in a number of areas. Just in the last year, we've had some of the professors from the campus had a group that looked at our police and safety areas. We resolved a discrimination suit that had been pending against the city for some time because of the efforts of some of of the professors there giving us background, looking into those things.
I think by doing things like the Forte Festival, by having the other kinds of civic events that have been held here, it gives people a chance to come into campus doorways and not feel threatened. And I think that's the way to approach growth for campuses and awareness of educational opportunities.
We're very proud in Fort Wayne of what we think are our artistic and cultural advantages, and clearly one of the strong parts of our artistic endeavors are the things that are done out at the campus.
The theater also does a marvelous job of being a community service organization as far as allowing actors and actresses, budding actors and actresses in the community to be part of it, and then just providing some very interesting entertainment, things that perhaps the civic theater or some of the church-related theaters might not do.
It gives people something to appreciate and enjoy the kind of life they have. And the people that get involved in that, I think everyone benefits from that.
The Philharmonic really has a very unique position with IPFW. For always, I think we've admired what the other person has done. But as of 1987, we have now 2 artist-in-residence programs. And this means that we jointly employ the conductor and 4 musicians. The conductor teaches. He has responsibility to a campus orchestra and a youth symphony, which draws on students from all the public and parochial schools in the area.
If you're not involved in the arts, and if your people aren't involved in the arts, they're missing a lot of what life's all about. And we're here to work and we're here to produce, but we can work harder and produce more if we feel comfortable with our lives, if we feel challenged by our lives, if we look at what there is beyond the normal workday.
I think without an IPFW, we would have an extreme void here, culturally and educationally.
I want Fort Wayne to be a college town in the best sense of the word. I want the vitality, the thought, the challenge of ideas that comes with a campus atmosphere, with a university atmosphere, a university in the true sense of the word, a partnership of people, of professors, of politicians and government, all exploring ideas, discussing ideas, and trying to find the best thing they can do. We can do that here with the campus we've got, with the university we've got, but we need to support it even more.
I think that the business community and I think that the academic community have to come closer together because we can help each other. We can help each other in a lot of ways.
I don't think we could have a community that's growing. I don't think we could have a community that's dynamic without having that university there and without having that university continue to grow in this community.
All of us in northeastern Indiana are very fortunate. Fortunate to have IPFW's accredited degree programs. It's nationally recognized faculty involved in teaching, research, and service that affect our lives. Fortunate to have the resources, the vitality that comes with a university. Your university, Indiana University, Purdue University at Fort Wayne.
Pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, halves, millions of coins, tons of money. Where is it? How did it get there? 1/2 people come to Luray, Virginia each year to visit its famous caverns. Among the many features of this great natural wonder is its renowned wishing well, recognized as the most productive in the world. Beneath the crystal clear waters, coins more than a foot deep accumulate, making the yearly tally substantial. Despite its placid appearance, the pool is Luray Cavern's most active attraction, for its surface ripples constantly from coins thrown by generous visitors who, for more than 30 years, have contributed over $250,000 to outstanding national health organizations and other nonprofit foundations. So many coins accumulate that periodically the water must be pumped out and the coins removed. It's a job that requires several days, and although there is a certain fascination in handling money by the shovelful, Luray Cavern's employees can attest to the fact that it is hard work, for millions of coins add up to tons of metal. The wishing well is located far into the caverns, and the slow journey begins as the coins are transported for more than 1/2 mile through cathedral-like rooms with stalactite-studded ceilings, monumental columns, and shimmering draperies, to a room near the cavern's entrance where a laundromat has been assembled. During their long immersion, the coins have become tarnished. To clean them, Luray Caverns has devised a unique coin laundry, tumbling the money in a bath of sand, detergent, and water in the drum of a cement mixer. After this thorough laundering, application of heat from a flamethrower provides a quick, effective, and spectacular method of drying. Allowed to cool, the clean coins are delivered to a sorting table. Here they are separated by denomination and miscellaneous items removed, such things as dice, bus tokens, and coins from more than 50 foreign nations. Then they are bagged and are ready for deposit in a special bank account, where they await distribution.
Start of the second half. IPFW women's basketball team in the lead here tonight. 35-31 over the Bellarmine College Bells.
Dave, I've got some unofficial stats here, and I think one of the stats highlights what we were talking about right before the halftime break, and that was that IPFW needs to look for that 15 to 20-foot shot. IPFW, typically a three-point shooting team, is 0 for 0 from the three-point range. They've not even attempted a shot. And again, it's not so important they attempt the three-point shot, but they've got to take that 15 to 20-footer to open up the middle a little bit to get their big people working inside.
And we see there that Bellarmine only attempted 2.
Right. These are official stats, excuse me, from the field goal area. Bellarmine was 15 of 37 for 41%. IPFW was 13 of 29 for 45%. Free throws, Bellarmine was 1 for 2 for 50%. IPFW was 9 for 9 for 100%. That's the telling statistic here with this 4-point lead at halftime. Rebounds, even at 19, and that surprises me a little bit. It appeared to me that Bellarmine had a rebounding edge.
Very early, they definitely did.
Turnovers, IPFW with 11 and Bellarmine with 8. Again, we gave you the leading scorers. Newhouser with 17, Miles with 8, and O'Bannon with 4 for Bellarmine.
Second half gets underway here now with the Bellarmine Bells inbounding the ball and getting their offensive set. They have number 32, Sharonda O'Banion, back in the middle and the inside. Nice step into the passing lane by Pam Edwards. Not able to control the ball, but slows down the offensive set of the Bellarmine Bells. They'll inbound the ball on the left side of the court. Outside to Rita Johnson, and good hustle by the shot clock is going to run out on Bellarmine because there's no way they get it back. All right. Good defense by the Dons that time.
Well, good hustle both on the part of Chandra O'Bannon for Bellarmine and Robin Scott. Chandra was able to get the ball, but as you mentioned, no time left in the clock.
Some discussion at the scorer's table, but I don't believe there was any portion of that exchange that would have warranted
the clock.
reset.
I agree with you. IPFW had never gained control, which would have reset the shot clock, but there was never a complete change of possession.
Bet you have to hand it to the Bellarmine personnel on the bench over there, at least raising the question. Inside pass taken away and right back to Lisa Miller, and she's getting 2-time now. And here's a three-point try by Tina Merrill.
Tina shooting 43% from three-point range, Dave, and again, that's her first point tonight.
But she played a very steady first half with making a lot of contributions other than scoring.
Got a number of rebounds.
And was playing good defense on the inside. So IPFW with the ball. 38-31. IPFW in the lead, largest lead of the evening by either team. Lisa Miller with the ball outside. Amy Newhouser, top of the key. Over to Tina Merrill, far left side.
Dangerous pass there across the court, but a bounce pass.
Robin Scott from the free throw line. Jump shot no good. Rebound. Tina Merrill goes back up. No good. Good hustle by Tina. Nice fast break down the other end with number 22, Shannon Miles, on the scoring end of that pass. Drops off to Tina Merrill on the right side, left side, and Tina hits the jump shot.
A little confidence builder, those two shots for Tina.
Yep, could be a big hack when she gets started like that. She's a streak shooter. Bellarmine College with the ball out on the perimeter. IPFW packing that middle end a little tighter than they had before, Dan. Shannon Miles with a nice turnaround, and again, the rebound position.
Should be a white ball, Dave.
But it's going to be Bellarmine College.
IPFW has position. They're just not going up strong for the ball, and Bellarmine's able to get a hand on it and knock it loose and able to come up with that ball an awful lot of the time.
Yeah, it's just a matter they've been getting overpowered. And Bellarmine's not that big. And there will be a traveling call against Sharonda O'Bannon. Shannon came up with a rebound again.
This is a very similar start to the first half in the rebounding area.
IPFW needs to capitalize here offensively and build that lead up. Bellarmine very sticky on the defense, plays it very tight, gives you practically no daylight.
Dave, that was a poor call. She did stick her hand out, but I don't even think she touched the player.
That's where he anticipated something that didn't happen.
And that's a couple times tonight that he's anticipated that didn't happen.
That's a spot where maybe Lisa would have been just as well off to go up with the jump shot when she first got the ball. But that's easier for us to see, I guess. Bellarmine with the ball. Outside perimeter passing. Sharonda O'Bannon. Strong inside player. Outside to number 11, Stephanie Ruddy. 3-second violation. We've seen several of those tonight.
Well, and that one I think the fans called. I heard a few of them yelling that before he blew the whistle, and so I think he was alerted to that by the fans.
Helped the count. So IPFW with the ball, and again, the opportunity to increase a 7-point lead. Here at the start of the first half, only two baskets have been scored by IPFW, one a three-pointer. Inside Pam Edwards, back outside to Amy Newhouser. Amy's shot around, no good, and guess who comes out with that rebound? Sharonda O'Bannon.
Very strong rebounder, Dave. She seems to have a good sense for where the ball is.
And a nice inside move by number 22, Shannon Miles. Shannon uses that backboard as about as good as any of the women's players we've seen this year, Dan.
She's playing very well inside tonight, Dave. That's her 12th point, and as you said, I can believe she came off the bench to do that, right? I don't believe she was one starter.
Inside pass to Tina Merrill. Tina couldn't quite get the daylight she needed to get the shot up there. Stephanie Ruddy. Back to Stephanie. Missy Hahn at the top of the key, makes fake one side and drives in, misses the layup, but rebound by Sharonda O'Bannon. Somebody's going to have to take on the responsibility of seeing where Sharonda is and just blocking her out. Forget about everything else.
Well, that's what Bellarmine has done with Lisa Miller in particular. They've really tailgated her and kept someone on her all the time. And again, like you mentioned, that's what IPFW's got to do with Sharonda there. She's just controlling the boards now at both ends of the court. And is particularly effective at the offensive end. She's got a number of offensive rebounds, kept the ball alive. Here she'll shoot 2.
Sharonda will shoot a free throw. 2 free throws. Robin Scott gets a breather as Stacey Leavenworth comes in to replace her. First free throw is good. Makes the score 40-36. That 7-point lead being whittled down a bit. Could go down to 3 here, and it does. Sharonda can hit the free throws. Tina Manier into the lineup for IPFW. As we see an old friend passing by here, old Don. As in Mastodon. The mascot's here tonight. Uh-oh, a steal down the left side. Rita Johnson all the way for the layup, and we have a 1-point ball game. Well, the second half not much different from the first half, Dan. Spurts.
Right. IPFW started out real well at the beginning of this half, but not able to maintain.
Nice move to the basket by Lisa Miller, and this time Lisa draws the foul, and draws the foul against number 22, Shannon Miles. Nobody on either team in drastic foul trouble, but if it stays aggressive, they might have some difficulty before the game is over. Lisa Miller goes to the free throw line. Her second appearance there tonight. She shoots first of 2, and it's good. Second one will be forthcoming here shortly. Anticipated something that didn't happen.
And that's a couple times tonight that he's anticipated that didn't happen.
That's a spot where maybe Lisa would have been just as well off to go up with the jump shot
Right.
when she first got the ball. But that's easier for us to see, I guess. Bellarmine with the ball. Outside perimeter passing. Sharonda abandoned. Strong inside player. Outside to number 11, Stephanie Ruddy. 3-second violation. We've seen several of those tonight.
Well, and that one I think the fans called. I heard a few of them yelling that before he blew the whistle, and so I think he was alerted to that by the fans.
Helped the count. So IPFW with the ball, and again, the opportunity to increase a 7-point lead. Here at the start of the first half, only 2 baskets have been scored by IPFW, 1 a 3-pointer. Inside to Pam Edwards, back outside to Amy Newhouser. Amy's shot around, no good, and guess who comes out with that rebound? Sharonda O'Bannon.
Very strong rebounder, Dave. She seems to have a good sense for where the ball is.
And a nice inside move by number 22, Shannon Miles. Shannon uses that backboard as about as good as any of the women's players we've seen this year, Dan.
She's playing very well inside tonight, Dave. That's her 12th point, and as you said, I can believe she came off the bench to do that, right? I don't believe she was one of the starters.
Inside pass to Tina Merrill. Tina couldn't quite get the daylight she needed to get the shot up there. Stephanie Ruddy. Back to Stephanie. Missy Hahn at the top of the key, makes fake one side and drives in, misses the layup, but rebound by Sharonda O'Bannon. Somebody's going to have to take on the responsibility of seeing where Sharonda is and just blocking her out. Forget about everything else.
Well, that's what Bellarmine has done with Lisa Miller in particular. They've really tailgated her and kept someone on her all the time. And again, like you mentioned, that's what IPFW's got to do with Sharonda there. She's just controlling the boards now at both ends of the court. And is particularly effective at the offensive end. She's got a number of offensive rebounds, kept the ball alive. Here she'll shoot 2.
Sharonda will shoot a free throw. 2 free throws. Robin Scott gets a breather as Stacey Leavenworth comes in to replace her. First free throw is good. Makes the score 40-36. That 7-point lead being whittled down a bit. Could go down to 3 here, and it does. Sharonda can hit the free throws. Tina Manier into the lineup for IPFW. As we see an old friend passing by here, old Don. As in Mastodon. The mascot's here tonight. Uh-oh, a steal down the left side. Rita Johnson all the way for the layup, and we have a 1-point ball game. Well, the second half not much different from the first half, Dan. Spurts.
Right. IPFW started out real well at the beginning of this half, but not able to maintain.
Nice move to the basket by Lisa Miller, and this time Lisa draws the foul, and draws the foul against number 22, Shannon Miles. Nobody on either team in drastic foul trouble, but if it stays aggressive, they might have some difficulty before the game is over. Lisa Miller goes to the free throw line. Her second appearance there tonight. She shoots first of 2, and it's good. Second one will be forthcoming here shortly. Up and no good, but rebounded by Judy Guest. Nice anticipation that time on the offensive rebound. Gives IPFW an opportunity here to score again on this possession. Inside to Pam Edwards. Not Pam, but
Stacy Leatherwood.
Stacy, and her shot was blocked. The Bellarmine Bells are a very aggressive basketball team when that ball gets inside or hits the floor, and they tie the game.
IPFW did a terrible job that time of getting back. There was only one defensive player.
And that time they weren't very alert on their offensive set, as a pass inside to one player hits another player in the back.
There you see our friend Don on the screen, now visiting with some of the fans.
IPFW with the pressure defense. It's kind of a present pressure. It's just always there.
Interesting offensive set by Bellarmine there. Nobody lower than the free throw line.
And there ought to be a traveling call here. All right. IPFW will inbound the ball after that turnover on the Bellarmine Bells. We have a 41-41 tie at 14 minutes of the second half. So after 6 minutes of play, it's all even. All right, a traveling call against IPFW.
Good call, Dave, but about 2 seconds too late. I think he was waiting for the other official to call it. He didn't, so he called it himself.
Judy Guest applying the pressure. And a little high dribble. Missy Hahn out to number 5, Claudia Smith.
Well, defensively, IPFW's put Robin Scott on Chandra O'Brien, so.
She fronted her and then went to the backside, but had no help there, and almost needs help. Because Sharonda is going to be a handful for any one person to handle. Amy Newhouser aggressively to the basket, had the ball knocked out of bounds, so IPFW will inbounds the ball. And since a shot was put up, there will be a new 30-second shot clock. Judy Guest with a jump shot up, but it was tipped, I believe. Fell short. Bellarmine came up with the ball.
IPFW very, very slow getting back defensively. Robin Scott has to pick up the foul to keep the layup basket from being scored. They've got to, once the basket, the transition game, they've got to get back to play defense.
Once again, we see a young lady by the name of Angie McClone come in off of the bench, number 44 for Bellarmine. And she comes in ready to play. She will be at the free throw line as she drew the foul on Robin Scott, and that's Robin's third foul. Just over 13 minutes of play left here in the second half. Great Lakes Valley basketball, women's basketball here at the college level, Division II. First free throw by Angie McClone, no good. Bellarmine with a 2-point lead, trying here with an opportunity to stretch that lead to 3.
Dave, that's the second time this has happened today. I don't know if it's a power surge because of the weather, but the lights go out and they will come back on. but I'm not sure what causes it.
Fortunately, it's the kind of thing that seems only to affect us here in the side courts and in the stands, because the court level itself, and I think you can probably tell by the intensity of the picture on the tube, maintains a very good picture. So the court level lighting is the same. Although the officials are going to choose to take the option here to let the lights warm back up in the side courts.
Not sure if this is an advantage to either team or not. IPFW needs to regroup here, and maybe this will give them that chance to do that. Bellarmine's run off a number of points. IPFW had a 7-point lead at one point, and they trailed by 2, so they've been outscored by 9 points here in about the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, they jumped out to a 38-31 lead right at the start of the half. And there we see the old Mastodon is down at the concession line taking advantage of this break in the action. Probably missed his supper. We see a shot of the lights that have yet to come back on.
Again, you can see that those are off the center court.
And from another angle, you see that on the side court, not necessarily the playing court itself, it is kind of dark. But then we go back to the court level, and the lighting is as good as it had been earlier in the game. Nonetheless, we have a slight delay as all of the lights are beginning to warm back up. Wish it were that easy outside.
Yes.
As we'll have free throw number 2 here to be attempted by Angie McClone. I hope with that delay again, the officials did not lose track of where they should resume.
I'm surprised they didn't let IPFW shoot a free throw.
Okay, the free throw attempt is up and no good. Robin Scott rebounds. Tina Manier brings the ball down. Amy Newhouser quickly to the left side. And Nancy Townsend into the ball game for the first time tonight for IPFW. Robin Scott on the far side. Good jump shot from the right side. And we get a tie ball game again.
Robin's not getting very high off the ground, though, Dave. She's taking it almost as a set shot, and she needs to get a little bit of upward.
And we see an offensive foul. Angie McClone, number 44 for the Bellarmine Bells, called for that offensive move.
That was a very close call. Could have gone either way, and if that would have gone against Robin Scott, it would have been her 4th foul. So very important call at this point in the ball game for IPFW.
Similar call to the one that went against Lisa Miller not too long ago at the other end of the floor. Again, Robin Scott on the right side with the ball. Back out to Tina Manier and inside to Robin Scott. And Robin has a move inside. Gets a bucket. It's good, and will get a free throw for a 3-point opportunity.
Nice offensive move by Robin Scott going down the middle, Dave. Nancy Townsend came in at that last time out, and she won't score a lot of points. She won't handle the ball a lot, but what she will add is the senior some stability to this lineup, and she'll pass the ball and make things happen, hopefully. And I think right there you see the offense kind of got back into gear, and Robin now has scored 2 buckets in a row and has got a chance to add a free throw.
Back into the lineup for the Bellarmine Bells is Shannon Miles, number 22.
And Dave, that was Angie McClone's 4th foul, so could be very important, because you talked about how well she's coming off the bench.
And she plays aggressive, so it's not surprising she might have 4 fouls. Robin Scott hits the free throw to give IPFW the 3-point lead. Gina Cornett, number 31, into the lineup for Bellarmine. Good aggressive defense over in the corner by Amy Newhouser, giving all kinds of difficulty to Sharonda O'Banion as she tried to handle the pass. Back outside, Claudia Smith, setting up down the lane. Jump shot outside and off the top of the basket. I think that's an out of bounds.
I thought it was an out of bounds too, Dave, but the officials didn't either see it or didn't call it. I'm not sure which.
See it, I think.
Good
play
by Nancy Townsend.
Right.
IPFW needs to make a run here, in my opinion, Dave. They're up by 3, and they were stuck there for a while on that 41.
Yeah, things had gotten a little stagnant for them, and Bellarmine was beginning to get very aggressive. And there we see a nice inside play. Amy Newhouser that time posting up.
A little too aggressive on Newhouser's part. She's going to pick up a foul.
Amy's first foul of the evening, team fourth. Neither team too close at this point in time to the 1-1, but probably before it's over. As we see Stephanie Duddy back into the lineup for the Bells. And there we get the tip pass. As Robin Scott that time was able to get in and save that long pass. Back to Judy Guess and gets a big bucket. Big bucket. Bellarmine's going to call a timeout here because IPFW has gone back to that 7-point lead that they enjoyed right at the start of the second half.
Well, we talked about a series of runs, Dave, a minute ago at the timeout. I mentioned that IPFW had been outscored by 9 points. Now the turnaround is
come right back.
IPFW has outscored Bellarmine by 9 points. And basically they've done it because they've hit the open shot. It's not because they're getting the ball inside and scoring underneath the bucket.
Right.
They're hitting that facing shot. Judy Guess hit one. Robin Scott hit two. Tina Merrill hit a couple early in the half, and that's loosening up the defense a little bit.
And Amy Newhouser went from the outside to the inside and posted up and got a bucket. So a lot of variation in the Mastodon offense at the moment as we look in at the huddle of IPFW during this timeout.
Well, and defensively, Dave, IPFW has done a very good job at the defensive end. They've made Bellarmine really work hard. They were very, very quick with their shots in the first half, and a couple times now they've run the shot clock down to within underneath 10 seconds, and that just makes Bellarmine work that much harder. It's not what they want to do, I don't believe. I think they want to get that quick shot. They've got some very good rebounders. They hope to get any missed shots and get the ball back up on the boards.
And as you've mentioned 3 or 4 times during the course of the evening, Dan, as there has been good alert defensive play, it follows shortly thereafter that there's also some good alert offensive play. So at the 10-minute and 59-second mark, IPFW in the lead, 7 points, 50-43 over the Bellarmine Bells. Number 2 team in the Great Lakes Valley Conference that IPFW is hoping to catch before the season is over. Bellarmine inbounds the ball with no full court pressure this time, and IPFW setting up in a zone defense. It looks like they want to really squeeze in on that middle. It's probably a good move.
Well, yeah, that's where they've been hurt offensively is in the middle. So
and Bellarmine hasn't even been shooting outside. Good defense again. With 9 seconds left on the shot clock, Bellarmine will inbound the ball. And we'll see how aware they are of what's left on their shot clock. Well, very aware because they take the strong outside shot. Got a rebound off a little push-off.
Well, but again, no good box out on IPFW's part. Tina Merrill just stood there, didn't try to find her defensive player and back her out of there.
Looks like Bellarmine has recognized they're going to have to shoot some from the outside as they hit the 2-point jump shot. Claudia Smith that time, or Connie Carroll, I'm sorry. The jump shot. Lisa Miller posted up inside, gets the nice jumper up, and it won't go. Good rebound position that time by Pam Edwards, and she draws a foul.
Right. It's only their 4th of the half, though, so we're still not in the 1-on-1. Both teams have 4.
We're approaching the 10-minute mark, the midpoint of the second half. The IPFW leading 50-45.
Judy Guess not going for the ball. She needs to go to the ball. That ball almost intercepted.
Oh, nice dish off inside. Pam Edwards up and in. She didn't use the backboard, but she got a basket. Bellarmine trying to get that ball inside. They get the jump shot in. Number 31, Gina Cornett. Seems like they keep bringing in good people off of the bench, Dan, to get that inside play for the Bells. It's got to be a charge, even though she bounced off of Pam. But Pam was set. There's no doubt about it.
That's a close call, though, Dave, because I believe the defensive player's got to give the offensive player one step after the turnaround, and that was a very close call. But you're right, she was set, and this crowd would have really been upset had they called that a blocking foul. IPFW getting, again, a little bit out of sync. They had to run, and they've kind of fallen back and running away from the ball instead of coming to it. They've made a couple of turnovers here on not crisp passes.
Robin Scott from the right baseline, and again this half, Robin's been looking for the basket and finding it.
Good help by Robin Scott there.
And we see a jump shot up, bounce around, no good, and Pam Edwards took control of that rebound.
Strong off defensive rebound.
They need that. Nice bounce off to Tina Merrill on the right side. And the ball will be given over to the Bellarmine Bells.
Well, that's just a mental mistake on IPFW's part. Tina obviously thought that the ball was off a red, but on that kind of a call with the official being blocked, you've got to go for any ball you have an opportunity, and she very easily could have got that ball before it went out of bounds.
Yeah, she could have controlled it before it went out, but was convinced that it would be our ball, and it wasn't. Another outside jumper, and number 5, Claudia Smith, has her second outside jump shot.
Well, you mentioned that she recognized the fact that they're not going to be able to force that ball inside. She's going to take that shot, and she's hit it.
And now it's going to be incumbent upon IPFW to recognize that she's an outside shooter. Robin Scott with a short jump shot, banks it in. Robin's getting open on that offense. The teammates are finding her, and she's putting it in. And here we have another outside jump shot. This one could be 3, a little bit out of range. Good rebound position by IPFW that time, although they almost lost the ball. Amy Newhauser. And now we'll see if the basket will be good.
They've got to count the basket, Dave, by the whistle. Now, I'm not sure. It appeared to me that she really did charge before she shot the ball, but the whistle was after the ball went in. Are they going to count the basket? He hasn't waved it off?
There's no indication, and he's waving it off now, which...
Dave, again, I'm sorry. That's just a poor call on his part. He blew that whistle way after the ball had gone through the basket. So if that's indeed the case, the basket has to be good.
Well, if I recall, that's about his 3rd call of that type tonight, and in all cases, he has disallowed the basket, so he's consistent. Would have been nice 2 points for IPFW to put up on the board. There we see a very costly foul against the Bellarmine Bells. Sharonda O'Banion, number 32, draws her 3rd foul, as she and Robin Scott were both jockeying for position to rebound.
That may be the reason she's been able to rebound so well underneath there.
And there we see a shot fake, but with the turnover on the travel by Lisa Miller. After the fake, she made a nice move and hit the jumper. So just seeing one go through the nets may help her also. Zone defense by the Mastodons, tightening up that inside. Bellarmine looking, and we see a 3-second call again tonight. Several of those.
I got the feeling, Dave, he was going to call a foul and change his mind, and he called 3 seconds instead. Yeah, we talked before the game we weren't going to do this, but it's just so difficult when you see things that you think are grossly unfair.
Nice inside move by Pam Edwards. Indiana Purdue with its largest lead, 58-49. 7-minute mark here of the second half. There's going to be an offensive foul called against Sharonda O'Bannon.
Dave, that's her 4th. 2 right here, very close together. Charlie Just for Bellarmine going to take a timeout. Cannot afford to fall too much further behind here. Also has now his 2 big inside players in foul trouble now. Shannon Miles has not scored for a long time here in the second half. She scored 8 in the first half and 4 early in the second half. Hadn't scored a bunch since then, and they've been trying to get the ball into her and number 31 Jenna Cornett. But now Chandra O'Brien and Angie McGlone both have 4 fouls, so that could hurt Bellarmine inside.
That thins out their inside play capabilities just about in half. They've had those 4 people, all of which have played well, and now 2 of them are in difficulty. Our next telecast will be a replay of the game on Saturday, February 17th at 6 p.m. when the Lady Norse from Northern Kentucky University take on the IPFW Lady Dons. At 8 p.m., the Norsemen from the University of Northern Kentucky will meet the men's basketball team from IPFW. Catch all of the action of college basketball right here on your College Access Channel 6. And IPFW has its biggest lead of the evening. Not an insurmountable lead, 9 points, but one that they have just steadily worked on here in the last several minutes of play.
Well, Dave, it doesn't appear that Bellarmine is going to be able to score a lot of points from the outside, so that the three-point play for them is not going to be a real effective get back in the ball game kind of attempt. And so you're right, they realize that they cannot fall too far behind here.
I believe Claudia Smith for Bellarmine, number 5, is the only player for them to score from what you would consider the outside, and she has 2 jump shots here in the second half.
Well, and they're only shooting about 33% from three-point range for the season, so, and they haven't taken a whole bunch of shots.
So that'll not be a bread and butter part of their offense.
Dave, something I missed there, that put IPFW in the bonus, and so now they've been able to move out with a free throw here by 10 points.
And Robin Scott with free throw number 2 and an opportunity to make the lead 11. 6 minutes and 58 seconds of action-filled play here in the women's college basketball. Great Lakes Valley Conference rivals, Bellarmine College from Louisville, Kentucky, and the IPFW Mastodons from right here in good old Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Well, and Bellarmine has an 11-game winning streak going, Dave, so this would be a very nice win. Not only would it help us to move up in the ratings, but nice win for us.
There we see an outside jump shot by number 25, Connie Carroll. So they're beginning to recognize they've got to get something going from the outside, but that outside inside stopped up for them. Lisa Miller takes the outside shot, no good, and Bellarmine coming back. Missy Hahn and Stephanie Duddy, the guards for Bellarmine. Connie Carroll, one of their inside play, along with Gina Cornett and Shannon Miles. And is there a 3-second call or a foul?
I'm going to call a foul on Pam Edwards. A good call. She's pushing out there, trying hard to play defense. A good play on her part, but the official call made a good call by, she was just kind of forcing 31, Jenna Cornett, out of the play. Still not in the 1-on-1 though, Dave, so they'll take the ball out of bounds.
Nancy Townsend and Judy Guest into the IPFW lineup. Nice anticipation on the pass by Judy Guest, and she was standing out of bounds, but that's all right. It did not lead to a score for the Bellarmine Bells. They merely moved to the other side of their own basket and inbound the ball. Ball on the perimeter, looking outside. And we have a jump shot from the outside by Connie Carroll.
Dave, I may have to retract my statement. They may be able to hit from outside. They just don't prefer to take that shot.
Well, they're not going out to the three-point land yet. So nice inside play, but a little extra movement on the feet as Pam was a little bit stymied as she made the move inside.
Good first dribble, but she picked it up and had nowhere to go and drug her foot trying to get to the basket.
Lisa Miller, Tina Manier into the IPFW lineup. And we reached that part of the ball game where about every dead ball there'd be a little shuffling of fresh people into the ball game. IPFW appears to have a little bit the deeper bench play to rely on.
Actually, not very much, Dave, except for the fact that Bellarmine's now got 2 players with 4 fouls, so that's going to hurt them.
Nice inside play. And we have a foul called inside, and everybody's looking around because nobody's quite sure who it's called against.
I'm not quite sure who it's called against. Number 22, I believe they're going to call. No, number 25.
25 for the Bells. Connie Carroll will send Lisa Miller to the free throw line, I think.
Very slow and deliberate call made there by the official. No, going to send Nancy Townsend to the line.
Nancy Townsend to the line. Okay. Nancy Townsend shooting the 1-and-1. IPFW in the lead 60-53. First free throw is good. Nancy has one of those unusual shots that it has no rotation on it whatsoever.
All you people from Logansport learn to shoot that way, don't you?
As long as it goes in.
Yes, I'm sure at this point in the game, Coach Rosinski, Coach Carter don't really care how it looks as long as it goes through the basket.
Right. And that one's nothing but net.
Now they need to get back and play defense, doing a very good job that time defensively.
Good defense by Tina Manier and Judy Guess, and they're being alert.
Dave, I've seen IPFW play so well tonight defensively as far as cutting off the passing lanes. That's Judy Guess has done it. Pam Edwards has done it. Robin Scott consistently does it. There again, you saw Judy Guess step in and knock the ball out of bounds. And again, Bellarmine's forced to run the shot clock down. They're down to under 10 seconds.
And we have a traveling call, as there was the backside help that time on the defense that stopped the offensive move and caused a little stutter step. Five minutes to play. IPFW with the ball and a 9-point lead. Shelly Sands out the top. Right through the hands of Nancy Townsend. She may have looked away just before squeezing the ball. Bellarmine back to their starting lineup with one exception. Sharonda O'Banion still on the bench with her 4 fouls, and she's replaced by number 31, Gina Cornett. A little confusion on the offensive set of Bellarmine, and there we see Judy Guess got beat on that first step right quickly and fouled as number 24 was on her way to the basket, Missy Hahn.
You just cannot let the offensive player have the baseline, and Judy got beat there and tried to make the step in front and caught with the hands, trying to hold her back.
So with 4 minutes and 35 seconds to go in this game, both teams in the 1-and-1. Every foul will be a shooting foul. Missy Hahn at the line to attempt her first free throw. It bounces around, no good, and Shelly Sands gets a rebound.
Judy Guess was up a little before the ball, and Shelly did a good job of following up behind her and was able to get the ball.
Nice pass inside to Lisa Miller as Lisa gets it back outside to Judy Guess. Judy inside to Lisa Miller, where it's really tight, and Lisa gets her own rebound and goes back up, and she earned that 2 points.
She sure did.
And IPFW pushes it up to an 11-point lead, 64-53. Just a little over 4 minutes to play. And Sharonda is back in, and her presence is felt.
Well, they're going to force it downside. They're going to give her either pick up her 5th foul or she's going to score a bucket.
IPFW breaks the press. Cross court, Amy Newhouser, Judy Guess on the outside. Looking inside, Nancy Townsend with the pass and the move. And there'll be a traveling call on Nancy. Robin Scott and Tina Merrill back into the lineup. So with one exception, we have the starting lineup back in for IPFW. Again, the zone defense with some extended pressure by the point. Amy Newhouser. Number 25 misses the outside jump shot.
Good box out by Lisa Miller.
Yep. And there we have a pressure defense, a foul called against number 25, Connie Carroll.
Judy Guess made a good spin move down the baseline, and Connie Carroll got stuck in the same situation that Judy Guess did at the other end of the court. Gave up the baseline, had to push to, that's right, had to push to keep from scoring the bucket.
Judy will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left here. Judy first free throw, round and round, and there it goes in. Judy's a good shooter, both at the line and from the field. Second free throw is up and good. Bellarmine on the attack, down the right side quickly. Up to the top. They can get that outside jumper, but they can't. And they have a 3-second call against Bellarmine. I think probably against Sharonda O'Banion. And Bellarmine calls timeout. Charlie Guest, coach of the Bellarmine Bells, couldn't quite agree with that last call, but needs to plan some final 3 minute and 11-second strategy for his team here to make a push as IPFW is in the lead.
Well, I think, Dave, the call particularly was one where the whistle blew before the shot, but the official was looking to see if the ball went in, and
You're right.
I think Charlie Just was more upset with the way the call was made. Maybe not that the call was a 3-second call, but how it was made, and we've discussed that all night, that there's been some very slow attempts at the whistles.
A little delay in knowing what's going to be
You
called.
talk about consistency. It's so hard to get into a pattern if you never know exactly what the officials are going to call or how they're going to call it.
And that time, too, it appeared as though all the players on the floor were also looking to see if the shot was going to go in, and in fact weren't quite sure that there'd even been a whistle that was supposed to stop play.
Right. Well, IPFW right now is doing things pretty well. They're up by 11 points. They will have the ball out of bounds. Is that correct? Well, we never know with the ball coming in here, but
they did have before the timeout. Now we'll see how it works after the timeout.
They need to run some time off the clock. 3 minutes 11 seconds. On the other hand, Bellarmine needs to work very hard defensively. It looks like they're going to go with a full court press. IPFW needs to not get rattled here. If they get the ball down, they take an open shot, fine. If they don't, they need to set it up and run the offense, run some time off the clock. If they can take 30 seconds.
And probably needs to get ready here to shoot free throws. But now we have an indication from the scorer's bench that stops play. Now they need an explanation from the two officials. So both officials and the coaches are huddled around the official bench.
And I can't offer you any help here because I'm not sure what the question is here.
Only one possibility I can think of, and that is that there was a sub there that should have been waved in and was not. And I think that must be it, because otherwise they would not let her in yet. If she had not been eligible to come in before, the only mistake might be that the timer should not have buzzed to correct the two fellas on the floor, as much help as they might need it. IPFW with good free throw shooters on the floor at this point, and that's good because they'll probably be going to that line as they attempt to work the clock down. Ball tipped out of bounds by Bellarmine. 18 seconds left on the shot clock for IPFW.
Good defensive pressure by Bellarmine and Atkins. That's what they need to do if they're going to get back in this ball game. IPFW, on the other hand, really needs to score on this possession, and they're not going to. Both officials very indecisive tonight, Dave. They both look at each other to try to decide what the call should be.
Call something. I do like the way the Bellarmine Bells play the game, Dan. They're aggressive. They're always going after it, offensively, defensively. They're not real big. In fact, that might be something that keeps them from being just a super team, although they're good inside, so I guess you can't say they need a big person.
And they're very young, Dave. They haven't, I don't think they have a senior on this team, so we can look for them to be strong, just like IPFW be strong the next couple of years.
And there we have Sharonda O'Banion getting the ball on the inside. She has been fouled by, I think, Lisa Miller.
I think she was probably fouled, Dave, but I thought the foul was going to go against Judy Guess. So surprise who the foul was on.
Sharonda will go to the line to shoot the 1-and-1.
IPFW has got to box out here and get to rebounding position.
They have an 11-point lead that's now down to 10. Sharonda's a pretty good free throw shooter, too. I don't think she's missed tonight.
I don't think she has either, Dave.
Sharonda O'Banion ready to shoot free throw number 2 and hoping to get that lead down under 10 points. It's around and no good. But Judy Guess and everybody having trouble handling that ball. Bellarmine puts it back up. Sharonda gets in there, believe it or not. And now IPFW comes out with the ball and the opportunity to set up their offense, work the clock, get a good shot. They've got good free throw shooters in the lineup. I think I might go at Sharonda because she's in foul trouble. And I would, there she is. That could be number 5.
It is number 5, Dave.
Good call, huh?
Yes. You ever think about taking up the game of coaching?
Yeah, I did once, and that's why I'm back up here.
Well, and I don't want to jinx Robin, but she's hit, I think, 6 for 6 from the free throw line tonight. So good free throw shooter going to the line. She's had a great second half with 11 points here in the second half.
Robin Scott to the free throw line.
Free throws will be crucial because you certainly, as you mentioned, they're going to be fouling IPFW and sending them to the line. With a 10-point lead, they can maintain a comfortable margin here if they can just hit their free throws.
Connie Carroll, one of the better outside shooters for the Bellarmine Bells, is back into the lineup now, replacing Sharonda O'Banion. Rhonda is a strong, valuable player for the Bells. Robbins' free throw is good, and she'll attempt number 2. As back into the lineup for the Bells is also this time number 22, Shannon Miles. Shannon replaces Rita Johnson. Robin Scott with her second attempt, and it is good. Robbins had a good ball game.
Very good ball
And
game.
there we see an awfully careless pass that the Bells survive. And again, the outside jumper. Connie Carroll. She and number 5, Claudia Smith, seem to be the ones that are willing to take that outside jump shot. Amy Newhouser with the ball, down to Tina Merrill. Tina on the right side of the floor, bounces back to Amy Newhouser. This time inside to Lisa Miller, and there's the shot that Robin's been hitting that shot all night long. IPFW into a 12-point lead. Minute 35.
IPFW needs to fight against becoming lackadaisical here, though. Even there's only a minute 25 left, they need to play well because they've got to take that into Saturday night's game against Northern Kentucky.
That's right. And there we see the foul against the Bellarmine Bells. We'll send Lisa Miller to the line. IPFW's played a pretty sound ball game tonight. They've hit some stretches where things got a little lax, a little dull, and they couldn't quite keep it going, but they bounced back every time. And here for the last 6-7 minutes have really kept the pressure on. Lisa's first free throw is good. Number 2 on its way. That is up and good. Lisa's worked hard tonight.
She has worked hard, and she's only got 11 points to show for it, but as we mentioned, she's got a number. She had 7 rebounds in the first half, Dave, and a number here in the second half. So,
well, you don't always see the results in the points column
that's right.
for how hard you've worked. And there we have pass out now to Amy Newhouser as the Dons come down and attempt to work the time off the clock. And we have some sort of a call that's going to be made out here on the side of the floor. Foul, it would appear, against Bellarmine. Number 24. Missy Hahn drawing her second foul. Not sure how you pronounce that tape that comes between
megabit chip.
First free throw by Robin Scott is good.
Robin's had a great second half here, Dave.
She really has. And the
That's
second one's perfect.
17 second half points for Robin Scott to match 17 first half points by Amy Newhouser.
And Robin's first half wasn't too shabby either, although it wasn't a big scoring half. Bellarmine kind of at the desperate stage now, and they'll send Robin Scott back to the line. They're firing up the long jumper. Can't get them to fall. Can't come up with a rebound.
Not sure who called the timeout there, but
I think Bellarmine called that timeout. With 49 seconds to play, and IPFW in a 16-point lead, and it certainly has not been a 16-point game.
no, you have number of the changes of the score, lead changes here.
Yeah, we've had throughout the course of the game 13 ties and 9 lead changes. So it's been a tightly contested ball game, and not until the last 5-6 minutes play here where IPFW really has played very crisp, very sharp, very alert, both offensively and defensively.
Well, and that's what they needed to do, Dave. We mentioned about need to get up for all the rest of their ball games. This will be the toughest weekend that they have left for the rest of the regular season, with Bellarmine coming in here 2 games ahead of them in the conference. So this win tonight will move them 1 game closer. They've got to have some help to catch Bellarmine. But then Northern Kentucky comes in with the same number of losses in the conference that IPFW has, 1 less win. So IPFW a half a game ahead of Northern Kentucky. So a tough weekend but luckily they get to play them at home, and then they go on the road to two of the teams that are down towards the bottom end of the conference next weekend, and they cannot afford a letdown between now and the end of the season. They really need to win these next 5 ball games, finish out the season at 22-6, and in my opinion have a real good chance for an NCAA bid.
Very strong possibility, as well as a potential probably second place finish in the conference. And as we know, 2 weeks ago tonight, they came within an eyelash of beating the undefeated St. Joe Pumas, who are #1 in the conference.
In fact, Dave, I'd love to see a matchup between St. Joe and IPFW on a neutral court. I just think that would be a heck of a ball game.
Somewhere along that NCAA tournament trail, that would be great. Robin's free throw is good. Probably sounds like a broken record. Number 2 on its way. And that 2 is good. And during the course of this evening, Robin Scott, junior forward on the IPFW women's basketball team, has scored her 1,000th career point. No, not tonight, last week. The Great Lakes Valley Conference contest against Lewis University at Romeoville. Scott from Madison Grant High School in Summitville, Indiana, down around Madison County. Currently has 1,058 points. To place her 3rd on the IPFW all-time scoring list, and that being just a junior, she can keep that count going and going and going.
Well, earlier this year, Tina Merrill set the school scoring record, didn't she, Dave? And
yep.
That will look to be broken by Robin Scott next year, and maybe by
Judy Guest with the rebound inside, puts it up and in. After she rebounded the jump shot from the right side by number 40, Kelly Brooks, who is in the lineup, as is number 30, Amy Hogan. Stacy Leatherwood also in the lineup. Dawn Harbaugh. So the veteran starters for the IPFW Mastodons have well-deserved rest as they watch from the sidelines now as these last 11 seconds will be played. And IPFW has pushed it out to a 20-point lead. They pushed it out to that only in the last 3 or 4 minutes here.
I think they had built a 9-point lead with 3 minutes and 42 seconds left or something like that. So they really, as you mentioned, pushed it out here in the last 3 minutes.
Stacy Leatherwood to attempt the free throw. And it's good. If you were in a real pressure situation and had to figure out who to foul on the IPFW team, it would be a tough decision. They all shoot the free throws very well, as Stacy Leatherwood hits 2.
Well, last year they led the NCAA in Division II in free throw shooting, and this year they're in the top 10. So.
And we see a long 3-point attempt by number 11 as the rebound shot goes up, and with 3 ticks left on the clock, Bellarmine will go to the free throw line as Connie Carroll will attempt 2 free throws as she was fouled attempting to shoot after rebounding that last jump shot by the Bellarmine Bells. 80-58. IPFW about to win an additional Great Lakes Valley Conference basketball game. Bellarmine shot the free throws very well also tonight.
Right.
Connie Carroll, a very active player. First free throw good, second one on the way, and it's good. Dawn Harbaugh with the ball, down to Stacy Leatherwood. Stacy turns and takes what might have been a countable shot, but the game comes to an end. Final score, IPFW 80, Bellarmine College from Louisville, Kentucky, 60. And in a very convincing win, although perhaps not as wide a margin as we had expected here in terms of the 20 points being a little unexpected, but a convincing win by the Mastodons because they never let the game get out of hand from beginning to end. A few times fell behind, but were able in each case to regroup, come back, take the lead, and stay in control and contention throughout the ball game.
Well, I don't think it was one of IPFW's better games, Dave, but I think what they did do was play pretty consistently from start to end. As you mentioned, there were a few runs by both teams, but they maintained their intensity levels all the way through. We've seen that not happen before. We saw that against St. Joe. They went in with a pretty good first half, a small lead. They built the lead back up in the second half and then were unable to hold that. And St. Joe's a very good ball club. But IPFW, again, needs that consistency. As we mentioned before, they need to win the rest of the games from here on out. And this is a big win tonight, but they cannot afford to let down at any time. Dave, I've got some unofficial scoring statistics here for the victorious IPFW Lady Dons. with a total of 80 points. They were led in scoring tonight by Robin Scott, who played a very, very good game. She's gotten into foul trouble the last couple times we've seen her. She ended up with only 3 tonight and played a very aggressive, very good defensive game and very good offensively, particularly picked it up in the second half with 19 second-half points. She was followed by Amy Newhouser, who played a great first half and played a great all-around game in the second half, dishing off the ball, playing defense, those kind of things. She had 19. Nancy Townsend had 2. Judy Guess had 6. Dawn Harbaugh had 2. Tina Merrill only had 5 tonight, well below her average. Lisa Miller, well below her average, with only 11. But again, you talk about the intangibles that Lisa Miller brings. I would guess that Lisa Miller was up around 15 rebounds tonight's game.
And a lot of assists.
A lot of assists. Amy Hogan had 0. Stacy Leatherwood had 2. Shelly Sands had 2. Pam Edwards had 4. Kelly Brooks had 0. And Tina Manier had 0. For the Lady Bells of Bellarmine, who go to 19-4 and 11-2 in the conference, but maintain the second place position in the conference. They were led in scoring tonight by Chandra O'Bannon with 14, followed closely by Shannon Mills with 12. Claudia Smith had 6. Renetta Kokowitz had 2. Stephanie Duddy had 2. Kristen Cooper had 0. Rita Johnson had 4. Missy Hahn had 2. Connie Carroll had 8. Jenna Cornett had 6. And Angie McGlone had 4 with a number of rebounds. Chandra O'Bannon probably led both teams in rebounding. Just did a tremendous job off the boards.
Well, we invite you to stay tuned for a second basketball game here tonight. In approximately 25 minutes, the men's teams from both Bellarmine College and IPFW will square off in the second part of this Great Lakes Valley Conference basketball doubleheader. Again, this first game won by IPFW women, 80-60.